Uh, we've seen some highs and lows out of these candidates now. I feel like Giannis has been the most consistent, but then Embiid and Jokic just come out sometimes, and they're just like, how can you not give it to him? But then you turn around and you're like, but then there's the other one of them. So how do you not give it to him? But then now the Bucks are back up to the 2 seed, and Giannis has been Giannis all season. He drops 40 without trying.
Mm.
So
It's sad because I've been pushing the Embiid MVP campaign for like the last 2 or 3 weeks. But I don't know. Jokic has been so good. Giannis, like you said, consistently every night he plays, very good. I don't know. Like I really don't know where to place my bet right now or to put my vote. I'm really so unsure about this. And I don't think I've ever been this, confused about an MVP race ever.
Yeah, no, that's how I feel as well. I feel like there's been such a switch back and forth, as you mentioned, between Joel or Giannis or Jokic for pretty much everyone in the NBA community right now. These guys just have big performances. Someone has an off game. The margin for error is so slim that if someone has an off night and someone has a big night, things change, which is absolutely ridiculous for a full season reward that flips that much from a game-to-game basis. But that's where we're at right now with only about 20 games left with how close this race is.
I mean, this is probably the first season in a while where there's probably been at least 5 or 6 guys in first at different points with legitimate cases. Like it was Curry, then it was KD. At least to me, it was KD for a while.
Yeah.
And then when he went out, I think it kind of went to Embiid. But then Jokic has a great game, and then Giannis is always in the conversation. We've seen like Ja and DeRozan sneak up at different points. I think DeRozan's case is pretty much dead with the way like Chicago plays against good teams.
Yeah.
But even like Ja's always knocking on that door. So it's so wild. I don't know how, if I was a voter, I don't know what I would do.
There's even some Rudy Gobert love early in the year. It's been everywhere.
Oh, that's wild. That's wild. Rudy Gobert love is that clip surfaced the other day.
Yeah.
It was like 2 years ago today.
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert touched all the microphones in the room.
CSD, man.
Then the bubble happened.
The day the world changed.
It's crazy because if Jason Tatum didn't have such a poor start to the season, he might be right there in the thick of this race.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Right there.
And I think we could say the same for Luka as well.
Yeah, very true. Like those guys had bad starts, but they're on the outside of the top 5 in my eyes right now. But with DeMar trending down, Ja's pretty much kind of solidified there. Those guys can move up into the conversation, maybe steal a couple votes, potentially.
Hey, Tatum's been really nice. I saw some Instagram page. I think it's called like Halftime or something. The Halftime. I saw them posting a lot of Jason Tatum love. So
he's been going crazy.
Tyrik,
man.
if you want to go, if you want to go look at that page and see some of the stuff he's been doing, man, that's a great.
I think
let me plug y'all out. Okay.
I think I'll check him out, man. But yeah, I don't know. Like NBA.com right now, they say Jokic is the front runner. He's the leader. He's number 1 in the MVP ladder, and I think he's been number 1 for like the last couple of weeks. The thing about Jokic, I don't know how the media is really gonna look at him as reigning MVP. Pretty much like very similar numbers to last year. The Nuggets are like a similar team to last year. I don't know how they're gonna look at him like when they vote. I feel like they might favor an Embiid or maybe even a Giannis over him.
You guys see what Jeff Green said? I think it was last night, maybe the night before.
No,
I didn't see that.
Maybe it was a fake quote and I got baited, but I swear I saw some quote from him that was like, I mean, no offense to our teammates, but Jokic has been carrying us all season.
That
I'm
was
like,
like
man,
man. Hold up, I'm about to look that up real quick.
I think that's the big thing that'll change things with voters is how much do they consider the impact of Jamal Murray and MPJ not being there? I think that'll really decide things. Because if people care about that, Jokic should have a really good shot and a really good narrative. But if they don't, well, then not so much.
If they maybe get up to the 4 seed, because they're not that far back, I think that improves his case a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I was looking at some people commenting on some stuff the other day, though, talking about how, like, can't have an MVP that's 2.5 games above the play-in tournament. It's like, okay, but, like, they have the same amount of wins as the 76ers right now. Like, just because they're in the 6th seed doesn't mean they're doing any bit worse.
And he's also like, the Nuggets are like a game and a half out of being the 4 seed.
Yeah.
Like, they're not even that far back.
Exactly.
I don't know. Jokic's hate is weird. Like, I hate it, man. Like, I just don't get why people don't love his game, because he's a joy to watch. Like, the passes he makes, the way he creates for himself, gets his shots off. It's fun basketball, and he's not as bad as the defender as people want to make it out to be. And this team,
it's really weird. I feel like people always have that bias against, like, big men who don't play great defense, because obviously he used to not play great defense. People just don't like that. But, like, when it's a guard that's all offense and no defense, it's like, man, they can be an MVP, they can be whatever. But yeah, I think that kind of gave him a negative stigma, especially as a European big man. They hate those offensive stretch bigs type things. I hate the media, man, because they just refuse to acknowledge his improvement.